Sometimes it's so clear that the world is black. And sometimes it's so clear that it's white. And, and of course, sometimes the reality is that it's both. And what I want to remind you and ask that you remember is that there are a million shades of gray. Now, of course, sometimes it really is brightly white. And sometimes the world is really, and what we're looking at is dark and black. But generally, that's not the case. What I'm recommending is that when you think it is, step back. Step back and take another look. And take a look for what is true for you. Is it white or is it black or is it somewhere in the middle? And when it's in the middle, I think that we think more clearly. And that's what I'm here to bring you, is an invitation to clear thinking. An invitation to noticing when you see it's white or black, and when you are sure that it's one of those, that's when to step back, to look clearly, to look broadly, and to say to yourself, might I be mistaken? And if I'm mistaken, then what do I want to look at now? One way you can examine this ability to be mistaken is to actually take and assume the positions of white or black. It looks a little bit like this. I'm sure I'm right. I know I'm right. And here's my point. I'm clear, I'm right, I'm accurate. And then, no, I'm sure I'm right. And here's my point, 1, 2, and 3, and it's clear to me. This kind of self-arguing is a way to clarify those points of view that you hold within yourself. Those points of view that you're probably sure about, that you're clear about. And once you identify them, then it's much easier to start to see the gray in between. This technique also works very well in times of struggle. There's trouble with a friend, a family member, a coworker. And I believe that most of the time, when there's that trouble, it's because you see it as very clear and the other person sees it as very clear. And it's difficult to stand in their shoes. In those times, what I'm recommending is you do. You flip around and you stand in their shoes. And you say, well, I think that this is what you're saying. It's not quite what I believe, but let me see if I can represent it accurately. Because I think you're saying this. And then, of course, you say what you think they're saying. And then maybe that person will give you the gift of flipping around and saying, well, gosh, you got that pretty well. And I can see your point. Particularly, I can see the point about this. In times of trouble, we generally both get attached to our position. We believe that our point of view is the right one and the other point of view is the wrong one. And whether it's the person you're married to, you work with, whether it's your children or your parents, take a look and see. And then step back, take a big picture look, and see if you can notice the gray in between. See if you can move yourself toward their position. I think you'll notice that they might move themselves toward your position. Of course, when you see it, from your point of view, it's all black. Because of course, if you're standing over there, the thing that you're looking at is all black. Now the person that's standing over there, as you can imagine, What they're seeing is all white. And of course, they're seeing it accurately. Because from their point of view, that's what it looks like. Fortunately, with communication, mostly with the realization that maybe you don't see it accurately, you can discover that what you see is actually something that's, well, black and white. Thanks for thinking with me. Please take a moment to write below. Right down there, right below. Write down what it is that you're discovering about yourself as you're listening. So not what you're discovering about those other people who are certainly wrong, but what you're discovering about yourself when you're certainly right. And then write down, right there, what it is that you plan to do differently. I love your questions and comments. Thanks for tuning in.